Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
White lib man says he's transracial and wants to become a Filipino. Liberals never seem to have enough when it comes to perverting society's norms. They first succeeded in making gay marriage legal, and next they moved on to transgender rights, urging public schools to let people choose to go to whatever bathroom they feel fits the gender that they want to be, regardless of biology. The newest bizarre liberal trend involves people who consider themselves to be transracial. As an example of this, one Caucasian man named Adam now identifies as Filipino, even though he has zero Filipino heritage, does not look Filipino, and was not raised in a household with Filipino culture. Adam now calls himself Jadu, and rides around in a small purple vehicle called a Tuk Tuk that people in the Philippines use for public transit. Stated this very confused man about his journey to becoming a Filipino, "Whenever I'm around the music, around the food, I feel like I'm in my own skin." He added, "I'd watch the History Channel sometimes for hours whenever it came to that, and nothing else intrigued me more but things about Filipino culture." A licensed psychologist named Stacy Skettner, who has a doctorate, was asked about transracial people such as Jadu. Instead of giving Jadu some tough love advice about the fact that he is not and never will be an actual Filipino, the liberal supported the cause, saying, "If someone feels that they feel at home with a certain religion, a certain race, a certain culture, I think that if that's who they really feel inside, life is about finding out who you are. The more knowledge you have of yourself, the happier you can be." Do you think deranged liberals like Jadu and this therapist need a cold, hard dose of reality? Jon Stewart just said tough SHD to people tired of non-stop nasty Trump jokes on TV shows. Former failed MTV talk show host Jon Stewart later resurrected his career by becoming the second host of Comedy Central The Daily Show, which became a smash hit with liberals for the way Stewart and others on the show criticized Republican George W. Bush's presidency. Unfortunately for television viewing audiences, several other shows copied The Daily Show's format and became successes themselves. This has escalated since the 2016 presidential campaign and has gotten so bad that even late-night shows have become dominated by hateful, leftist comedy. Many Americans have complained about how these shows are little more than platforms for liberal propaganda, told through jokes. In an interview, Stewart was asked, "For people who don't share your politics and feel alienated by what they see in TV comedy, who wish we could go back to a more even-handed era of Johnny Carson, do they have a point?" Instead of trying to express his point of view rationally, Stewart shot back at regular Americans, "Here's what I would say, tough shit. Honestly. The idea that you've lost the pleasure of watching Carson? We all have lost that pleasure. I used to like watching Carson, too. But I think that's a cop-out." Stewart ranted, "The people that say, 'This culture isn't for me,' live in a nostalgic world. Those are the people that are the first to tell minorities, 'Suck it up.' Those are the first people to say to individuals that are being relentlessly either ostracized or legally threatened, 'Oh, snowflake, watch yourself.' But God forbid somebody doesn't say Merry Christmas. It's the empty rhetoric of grievance, and I don't feel bad in any way whatsoever." Do you think Over the Hill Stewart needs to finally shut his mouth? "I always felt safe." Woman who worked for Roy Moore in her teens destroys accuser's stories. Without any evidence aside from a possibly forged yearbook inscription, 5 women have come forward and claimed that Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore sexually assaulted them when they were teenagers in the late 70s and early 80s. Thankfully, another woman who was a teenager then also made her voice heard to contradict this perverted lie that Democrats and Mitch McConnell backing Republicans have been spreading against non-establishment candidate Moore. A woman who chose to go the name Beth recently spoke with a conservative Tribune and talked about her own, vastly different experiences with Moore when she was a high school student. Stated Beth, "Yes, I absolutely believe the judge is innocent. I've known him and his family for years. I was a teenager when I first started working in his campaign. And he always honored and respected me and all the others. I always felt safe around him. I never once felt uncomfortable." Beth detailed how she worked alongside Moore during his first Chief Justice campaign, and often it was just her, the campaign manager, and Roy in the campaign office in Birmingham. Said Beth, "So I worked real close with him. He invited all the staff over for cookouts and dinners and stuff at his house. So if he was like that, he had plenty of opportunities." She said she worked on some of Moore's later campaigns and kept in touch with Roy. She also volunteered at the Foundation of Moral Law, which is run by him. Stated Beth, "He even tried to set me up with one of his lawyers that worked for him. It did not work out, but I was close with them. All this was years ago, but still, I know him enough to know he is not like that." Are you glad this woman spoke up against the accusers and set the record straight on Moore's character? Breaking: Corey Feldman just revealed name of another Hollywood child molester. Liberals love to act like they are the defenders of the oppressed and vulnerable, but their behavior frequently does not bear this out. Perhaps the most glaring example of this is how Hollywood, which is dominated by Democrats, has been covering up the rampant sexual abuse that has been happening behind closed doors in the industry for decades. The worst of these is, of course, child molestation. It is truly sad that child star Corey Feldman has been trying to sound the alarm about the industry's pedophilia, but has been silenced by other liberals in the media like Barbara Walters. Thankfully, with all the news about sexual assaulters, Feldman has been given the courage to finally speak out. Corey recently appeared on the show Dr. Oz and revealed the name of yet another entertainment industry who abused him and others. Feldman had previously outed bit actor and showbiz hangaround John Grissom and child talent manager Marty Weiss as pedophiles. How he revealed that Alfie Hoffman, who at the end of the 80s ran an underage dance club called Alfie's Soda Pop Club, molested him. He explained that Alfie was the son of a major Hollywood casting director named Bobby Hoffman who died in 1993. Explained Corey, "When you got an invite to go to Bobby Hoffman's private party, this was a very big thing. And the fact that his son was coming to pick me up himself, was also a very big thing, and my mom ushered me into the car and said go have fun." Said Corey about what happened, "One night I was over there and we were watching a movie and I passed out while I was watching the movie, and when I woke up there was a porn on again. And I was like, man, I'm really tired. I remember I could barely walk. I don't know what I was given at that time, but I know that I was really out of it. And we went to the bedroom, and I was kind of passing in and out of it, and then it was like he started doing the same things to me that another alleged abuser had done. I kind of woke up in the middle of it, and I freaked out. I kind of threw him off me and I ran home." Are you glad Corey is exposing liberal Hollywood's pedophile ring? Pro-abortion NBC claims that anyone choosing to have children is morally suspect. According to a bioethicist at NBC, it is not morally acceptable to give birth to children, because children are a nuisance for the planet. Science proves kids are bad for Earth. Morality suggests we stop having them, writes NBC. A startling and honestly distressing view is beginning to receive serious consideration in both academic and popular discussions of climate change ethics. According to this view, having a child is a major contributor to climate change. The logical takeaway here is that everyone on Earth ought to consider having fewer children, writes NBC. He went on to compare having a child to releasing a murderer from prison. If I release a murderer from prison, knowing full well that he intends to kill innocent people, then I bear some responsibility for those deaths, even though the killer is also fully responsible. My having released him doesn't make him less responsible, he did it. But his doing it doesn't eliminate my responsibility either. Something similar is true, I think, when it comes to having children, they write. If you buy this view of responsibility, you might eventually admit that having many children is wrong, or at least morally suspect. For standard environmental reasons, having a child imposes high emissions on the world, while the parents get the benefit. So like with any high-cost luxury, we should limit our indulgence, writes NBC. This could have been taken straight out of Hitler's playbook. If you kill lots of people, it could be beneficial for the planet. It might as well be named your value as a human being is worth less than that of the damage you cause. You should kill yourself. I don't believe a word she says, stepson of Roy Moore accuser reveals what a liar she is. A 56-year-old woman named Beverly Young Nelson from Alabama recently held a press conference together with opportunist lawyer Gloria Allred where she made the explosive claim that current Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore sexually assaulted her shortly after she turned 16. Beverly claims that Moore used to flirt with her at the restaurant she worked at after school, and one time gave her a ride in his car and ended up trying to rape her behind a dumpster. Thankfully, Beverly's own stepson just published a Facebook video where he exposed his stepmother as a liar and a fraud who should not be trusted in regards to the truth of this story. Said Daryl about Beverly in his video, which has since gone viral, "I've known the woman, she married my father many, many years ago. I've known her for a while now, and I truly do not believe that she's being honest about this." Nelson said that, after learning about his mother's press conference and her disturbing allegation against Moore, he was motivated to help Moore clear his name. Said Daryl about the charges against Moore, "I don't believe it." In a message addressed to Roy himself, Daryl went on to say, "I do believe you're innocent." Nelson continued by claiming that his stepmother is lying through her teeth. Nelson added that he still backs Moore 100% and is willing to face the backlash from his family for standing up for the candidate. Are you glad Daryl spoke out against his lying stepmother?